Hey, welcome. It's Brian, and this is Guitar Solo Reactions. And today, one of my favorite kind of duets on guitar of all time, and that is Jeff Beck and John Mclaughlin live at the Royal Festival Hall in 2002 doing the John Lewis standard Django. So I don't know if many of you watched my tribute to Jeff Beck. I did a couple, and one was just me kind of going through all the records that I own, at least, and talking about which ones I loved. And one that I may have spent too much time on isn't a Jeff Beck record, but it's John Mclaughlin, and this is the record called The Promise. And on this record, the beginning track is the song Django. And I randomly saw this video come up, and I thought, I gotta do it. This record came out in 1995, so this is 7 years after the record came out. And I'm not sure if Jeff Beck was a Jeff Beck concert. It looks like it might be. But John's obviously joining him. And this record is really great. So if you love John Mclaughlin, and you probably know this one, this is a real standout. So from that 90s era stuff. So anyway, what I do here is a lot of guitar-based content if you're new. And I love Jeff Beck. He's definitely in my top 10 for sure, and sometimes in my top 5. And I've gotten to see Jeff quite a few times. I saw Mclaughlin probably 3 or 4 times. So definitely, if you were to ask me on most given days, John Mclaughlin would always be in the top 5. And Jeff Beck would maybe be number 6 or something like that. Or in, number 5 or something like that. So both of these guys, I grew up listening to them in the mid 70s, and then starting to play guitar. When I started to play guitar, they both became pretty big. I don't know about influences, but I listened to a ton of fusion, and they were a big part of that, obviously. So here we go. Django, live, 2002. John Mclaughlin, Jeff Beck.
It's right in the bin because we've got John McLaughlin.
Hopefully the crowd noise is lower. Oh, yes. That's so... And he's playing the Johnny Smith. Wow. That's so sweet. What an incredible moment. Go ahead, John. audio is obviously not great, but it's still super special to see. Man, Jeff is on fire. So I have to say, as far as solos go, I mean, Jeff, expression wise, is always incredible. It's kind of hard to tell with the audio quality being pretty poor. But John just has that, I don't know, amazing technique. And, man, anyway, it's just such a smoking song. I think if you get a glimmer of what's on the record, and the record just obviously sounds, of course, way better than this. I was hoping this would be pristine or something, so we could really kind of see how it pans out live. But yeah, it's just really interesting to see. They must have been doing maybe a double bill or something, and it looks like there's two drum sets, and I'm gonna investigate later. Like, it looks like they obviously people knew that John was gonna sit in, and only reason why I say that is because I see the other drum set. So I'm assuming there was probably at some moment that maybe both bands played together or something like that. So if you know, please comment. Jesus, it's terrible. Damn. So I think in most of these duet things, what's cool is they're kind of not stepping on each other's feet too much. It's hard to tell because of audio quality to some degree, but Beck is on fire. And I think seeing John, like, this has got to be one of those moments where he's like, yeah, I'm holding my own, but Jeff is just, you know, the one and only Jeff Beck. That's all you can say. Such a great melody, too. Great trading off. So, my two childhood and even today top five guitar players on the stage in London 2002 doing the John Lewis standard Django. And I when I bought the record, The Promise, the John Mclaughlin record, and it opened up with that, I think I said in the original, my Jeff Beck tribute video, so maybe I'll try to link that in this or something, but I said that when I first heard it, for the first few seconds, I didn't know Jeff Beck was on it. And I go, wow, John has kind of really reinvented his playing, and it's less notey and more expressive. And he's an expressive player, but just like it just seemed completely different. And then after about 30 seconds, I was like, that has to be Jeff Beck. Opened it up, found that to be the case, and it went on to be one of my favorite John McLaughlin records of a certain time frame. I love everything from Extrapolation through the Mahavishnu stuff. And there was that period, probably 76 through 80. I think that's when they did the trio records with El Di Miola and Paco de Lucia. And so those were favorites of mine. And then he had a few records in there that I didn't really pay attention to. Um, but I loved all the Mahavishnu stuff. Inner Worlds, is that what that last one was called in the mid 70s? Anyway, that one's kind of cool. Maybe that was later. I'll look. But then the second version of Mahavishnu came out with kind of like, I use the word Fusac. And the first one had Billy Cobham on it. And I think the lineup was Mitch Foreman and, of course, Jonas Hellberg on bass, who really gave that band some energy. And that first record's got some kind of cool stuff on it. John's doing a lot of the Synclavier triggered, guitar samples and stuff on that. And then the second one, Adventures in Radioland, what I thought was a way better record tune wise. And I still listen to that one quite often. And I love Jonas Hellborg. And he did a lot of stuff with Buckethead. He also did a great record. I've got a review of that way when I first started doing that, of him and Tony Williams. This is Jonas Hellborg on acoustic bass, not upright, but like an acoustic guitar type bass, and Tony Williams and the Soldier String Quartet. And that record is called Wish, I think. And that was a mind blowing record, and I still point it out whenever I can remember the title to people, saying like, man, if you love Tony Williams and you love drums and cool kind of atmosphere and cool compositions that have no guitar in it whatsoever, check that record out, whatever it's called. And anyway, so cool to see these guys on stage together. I wish it sounded better. And that's another thing maybe I'll check out and see if there's some kind of recording of this that's a bootleg, or not a bootleg, but somewhere on the internet. So anyway, hey, if you have any information, and the other thing I was going to point out, he's using his Johnny Smith guitar, I think. If you're a Gibson guy, you'll know better than I. But that was right around when he was doing those trio records with, I think, Alvin Jones on drums and Joey DeFrancisco on organ. And there's like 2 records or 3 records right around there. And when I went to see it, I would see John as much as I could. I saw that acoustic trio with Trilak Gurtu. That was a great band. I saw that in Seattle. And then I saw him doing kind of this organ trio stuff. And I liked it in concert, but the records, he had like a lot of chorus and like pitch bending on the guitar, and it was just kind of odd to me. And he has a little bit of this, it just seemed really extreme. And then on The Promise, he has that kind of cool modulated sound. It's just like a hair of like that effect, but kind of a cool sound. Does some cool ring modulator stuff too. And I'm kind of losing my focus here. But anyway, I love John. I love Jeff. And it's so cool to see them together. Please, in the comments, if you have some favorites of John or Jeff, let me know. And if you know of other collaborations they did, whether it's videos or recordings, that'd be great. I had only known of this song on that record that they'd ever really officially, put out or whatever. So anyway, I'm Brian. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.